I would say that men usually get more support for doing whatever they want, and who are succeeding, they usually get a lot of hate.
Welcome to the Buff Podcast. Today we have somebody very strong with us, and she is also a national champion. And after this podcast, you will know how amazing she is. Her name is Pooja Bhatt, and I will let her introduce herself. Let's go. Hello, Pooja. Welcome to the show. Tell us something about yourself
Mhm.
to our viewers.
Okay, so I'm Pooja Ratnakar Bhatt. I'm a power lifter and I am a zoologist by my education. I completed masters in zoology. I used to be a zoology teacher. I used to teach high school kids online. And then I got married. I moved to the US and I couldn't work for some time. And that's what brought me to lifting. And then after moving back to India during the COVID times, I got into powerlifting. And that's how I became a powerlifter.
Wonderful, wonderful. So,
Mhm.
Pooja, what has your experience been as a zoologist so far?
I have a love-hate relationship with my education because I love it because it's really interesting. It's a vast subject. Sometimes I hated it because it's a very tough subject, especially when you're learning molecular biology, bioinformatics, and developmental biology. These are some tough subjects. So they can make you cry. So it's like it depends on the subject, what I feel about zoology as a whole.
Wow,
Mhm.
that's amazing, Pooja. Now, that brings me to the topic that you have four cats at home. So, as a cat
Mhm.
parent or as a
Yeah.
new cat parent, what are the things that they should know with relation to their diet and animal behavior?
I'll talk about their behavior first. Like, unlike dogs, cats just want to like do the things they want to do, whatever they like. So it's best we give them as much space as possible. And as the cats start liking you, like they kind of, at least for my cats, it's from my experience, they kind of develop a sign language to tell you what they need and what they want. So we really have to listen to them, unlike dogs, because dogs show pack behavior and they consider you as like the superior person in the pack. So dogs tend to listen to you more than cats. But cats, we have to listen to them most of the time. And coming to their diet, cats are obligate carnivores. So at least 90% of their diet should be meat. So even if we are buying processed cat food from the market, we always should be looking that the first two or three ingredients are meat based. Because if those ingredients are plant based, the cats can develop gastric issues and their feces and urine would be really stinky. Cats by nature are not supposed to have very stinky poop. It's like a evolutionary adaptation for them to escape predators. So we
Um,
always have to provide mostly meat.
this is new to me actually. Of course,
Mhm,
I am not that familiar in that territory.
mhm.
Pooja, we know that you are a national champion, especially for the meet that happened in April 2023. So, how did you
Yeah.
prepare yourself to break the 2023 national record?
So I have a national record in deadlift, and I was overall bronze. So our plan for the meet was to go for the gold. Competitions don't work as we expect. Plus, I was down with fever and flu maybe 2 to 3 weeks before the competition. That's the peaking phase of the competition. My coach and I, Vedant Pavnikar, we decided that if not for anything, like we kind of thought that we shouldn't be chasing a really high squat this time. Instead, we should chase a deadlift national record because that's easier for me to achieve because of my leverages and a lot of those technical aspects in powerlifting. So initially, we thought we could make a 200 kg deadlift, but yeah, I got sick. But then we really wanted that national record, so we went ahead and hit a 188.5. Preparing for that, we were focusing on like following a very strict set program, which included hypertrophy and then strength phase and peaking. I was making sure that I was eating the right food and getting enough sleep and rest and staying healthy as much as possible. So that's kind of what we mostly did for the national PI nationals this year.
Where was this meet
Mhm.
held this time?
The meet was in Kozhikode or Calicut, Kerala, which is in North Kerala. So when the meet happened, I was living in Talsheri. So Kozhikode is like 1 hour by train from Talsheri. So it was quite easy for me to travel.
So, how did you feel? What was your mindset on the D day when you were just near your lifts?
I was trying to stay as calm as possible. A lot of the time, unnecessary stress can ruin your competition. Another thing that I made sure is to practice following all the IPF rules and making sure that I am practicing everything like how it is supposed to be in a meet conducted by IPF so that I don't mess up on the day of the competition. That is getting the right squat depth, listening to the commands, bench press, when it comes to bench press, the touch point, when it comes to deadlift, the proper lockout. All I had to do was stay calm throughout the competition and not lose my mind. So I made sure that I stay calm till the last deadlift attempt, which was the national record. Actually, I did break the national record in my second attempt. uh, the previous national record was 182.5. I did break it by lifting 183. And then I went again for the third attempt and got a 188.5.
Wow, that is a lot of athletic resilience. Dear viewers, if you're watching this, you should know that when an athlete goes through a lot of things, even if their entire performance looks seamless on stage, there are very unbeautiful parts of their life where they have to work hard just to make that day look seamless. And Pooja Bhatt here has given us this example that if you are really aiming for something and you really go through it, you are going to get it right there. We know that women, a lot of new lifters, women lifters would like to discover their athletic potential, but this journey is very long and it is not easy, especially if we are talking of women athletes who are new. So what are the progression and mindset lessons that you want to share to the new women athletes?
The first thing female athletes need to realize that our progress is never going to be the same as that of male athletes, because a natural female athlete has 20 times lesser testosterone than a natural male athlete. So building muscle and building strength obviously takes a lot of time. Training around the menstrual cycle. I'm not saying that you should be training in a certain way to adjust to your menstrual cycle. What I'm trying to say is that some girls have more difficult periods than other girls, especially when it comes to cramps or any other symptoms that make things difficult. So these are the times when we really have to maintain a tough mindset, especially if we have to compete when we are close to periods or if we are on our periods. And me personally, I sometimes get very bad cramps, which can also lead to chest pains. That happened to me just before my PI nationals this year. So that's one of the reasons why we had to scale back and not hit a 200 deadlift, because I lost a lot of strength. I was down with flu as well as I had period cramps. So that was like fuel to fire. So girls, especially who have difficult periods, like they shouldn't really lose heart, or like they shouldn't like consider themselves as less. With like advancing time, you will get to know how to manage your life around that, and never ever compare yourself with others, because even comparing yourself with other girls, no two girls have the same kind of menstrual cycle. Girls function on a 28-day cycle versus men who function on a 24-hour cycle when it comes to their hormone cycle. These are the few things, like especially understanding how your menstrual cycle works and what you need to do to make sure that you are able to compete and maintain your health. And especially like if you are someone who bleeds a lot during periods, you have to make sure that your micronutrient intake is perfect.
I'm happy that a
Mhm.
female athlete is covering these aspects of training, especially for women athletes. And
Mhm.
of course, over time, it becomes very, very prime rather for women to track their cycles. Only then, probably, they can periodize their programs and how they function. I think this is being very specific with your goals is a good way, rather, a great way to progress. Don't you think so, Pooja?
It definitely is, and that reminds me that a lot of there's a lot of like stuff going on the internet these days where people are prioritizing very low body fat percentages, whether you're a male or a female. But it's affecting females more because a lot of the times girls are made to feel that they need to be like 15% body fat to look really aesthetic. Once you go below 20% body fat, your menstrual cycle will be affected, and it's going to affect your life overall. Actually, a lot of female athletes don't talk about this, about how they lose their periods, and they don't really talk about the negative side of like losing a lot of body fat or overtraining. But this is a fact that if we like unnecessarily like go below 20% body fat, it's definitely going to affect our overall health. We might look aesthetic on social media, but it's not the best feeling.
It's not even a pleasant feeling to stay in deficit all day long. If you are in that kind of body fat, you'll never know your potential and what you
Yeah,
can do.
yeah, that's
Right.
true. And a lot of girls are able to stay muscular between 20 to 25% body fat without much problems, much health problems. What happens on social media these days is like people are either, especially when it comes to women, people are either into like fat activism, that is like being obese is fine, is healthy, or it's about being skinny is good. People are not really like settling in for the in between ground where you can actually be healthy. And sometimes, like, we all now know that BMI is not the accurate measurement of someone's health. We don't have to look at BMI, but we definitely have to look at how our daily life is getting affected by our body weight or body fat percentage. Like, if our health or if our body weight is being a hindrance to our daily life, yeah, we really need to do something about it. And there is a middle ground to doing all of that where we can stay healthy as well. Unfortunately, nobody cares for that middle ground anymore on social media.
Thank you for this insight. We all have to learn the hard way sometimes. I've seen your posts often. I do check the comment section, and on most occasions you do receive a lot of negative comments and the comments that put you down. So what are the obstacles you faced in your athletic career, and how do you overcome them?
To begin saying that, I would say that men usually get more support for doing whatever they want, and it's a fact. Women, not just me, most women who are on social media or in any sphere of life and who are succeeding, they usually get a lot of hate. And people in general don't like to see women succeeding. So, first of all, especially for women, I would really say that you have to be mentally tough in this world. You have to train your mind to actually deal with all the negativity that you get, because people will find ways to discourage you. So I'll give you an example of that. When I was a little more chunkier, I was almost the same body weight or maybe slightly less, but I used to be fatter than what I am. That is more body fat percentage and less muscle mass. So I used to constantly get comments from people saying that I shouldn't talk about fitness unless I have a visible set of abs. After like getting my hypothyroidism under control with hormone replacement therapy and being consistent with my powerlifting training, so even on maintenance calories, I do have a decently visible set of abs right now. People don't appreciate that, even though people told me in the past that yeah, only if you have a visible abs, your fitness, like, you would be considered as a person who is into fitness. So now that I have actually changed physically and I do have some ab visibility, now the comments that I get, it doesn't matter if you have abs, you are still like 109 kg, and that's too much for a girl. So people who hate you will find ways to continue hating you. So you have to make your mind tough. So either you can ignore people or you can answer them back or you can troll them back. Trolling is fun. You can see the world burn, and it's fun trolling people who hate you. And if you don't have the energy to troll, I would say ignore. Because at the end of the day, your peace of mind is what matters. We don't have to engage in a meaningful conversation with people who are trying to pull us down.
That's true. Thank you so much, Pooja. Sometimes it becomes mentally tough to kind of get people away, make them stop the negative comments. But sometimes when it's just too much on every video, it's the same person over and over again, it just becomes tough to kind of say, please go. Now, I have seen that you did dabble in figure skating earlier. So, what was your experience back then?
Okay, so I tried figure skating from December 2018 to June 2020. That was just before I moved back to India. So I was actually getting injured a lot in lifting. I was just lifting to just be strong at that point. I was not into powerlifting. So I just wanted something else, to do something else. And I thought I would try figure skating. And I was living in Alaska. So figure skating and ice hockey were really popular there. And there were classes everywhere to learn figure skating as well as ice hockey. So I joined an adults figure skating club. I was surprised that I could do much more than I thought, because I carried over the strength from lifting to figure skating. I had strong abs, I had strong legs. And I did complete maybe 7 to 8 skill levels, which they have a curriculum. And I think I reached up to level 8, where you do stuff on one leg. So I was starting to do that, and then COVID happened, and then I moved back to India. And I still have my figure skates. Like late 2019, I invested in a pair of Jackson's competitive figure skates, which cost me $500 US dollars. And I still have that as like a souvenir or a prized possession kind of thing. I still hold on to it. And figure skating increased my strength overall. And when I came back to India and restarted lifting, I could see a significant difference in my squats and deadlifts. And I did progress a lot initially because of the strength that I brought from figure skating. So sometimes it's fun to try a different sport because your body moves in a different way and you get a strength carryover, like when you come back to your original sport and vice versa.
How was the environment in Alaska with relation to physical activities and outdoor sports?
Alaska has this nickname called the Great Outdoors. People love being outdoors there. Like in the middle of, even in the middle of winter when everything is frozen, there are outdoor ice skating rinks where people prefer to go and skate on so that they can get some sunlight. Because in most places in Alaska, you barely get 4 to 5 hours of sunlight in winter, unless if you're above the Arctic Circle, then it's 24-hour darkness in winter. But most places do get some amount of sunlight, and people used to love going outdoors in Alaska, and we loved that lifestyle as well. Along with figure skating, I did learn how to catch fish, and I did catch. I caught king salmon by myself. I've caught red salmon by myself, and I've caught pink salmon too. These are like really high protein fishes. And I never needed to use whey protein even at that point because these are like fish that are like rich in those essential fats that we need, plus a lot of protein. People's attitude towards outdoor life and being physically active is like, it's, I really enjoyed being in that community. And um, another thing that I loved about Alaska is that regardless of what your age is, if you want to learn a new sport, there is always an adults group for that. Like if you want to start playing ice hockey at the age of 35, you will still find someone, a few people who will be ready to play with you, and you'll be easily able to find coaching. Like nobody will tell you that okay, you're too old to do that. They will help you do whatever is possible for your age and for your physical fitness at that point, but nobody discourages you from trying anything new. And when I was learning figure skating, I was always encouraged. I was encouraged by the children's group. I was encouraged by the parents of those young figure skaters. I was encouraged by other adults as well. So it's an overall very positive environment for like outdoor activity and physical sports.
I think this is one of the environment where most athletes would love to be in. As long as they are encouraged by every group possible, they will thrive. Rather, if we have this thriving environment in India, we would have many athletes come up just like that because there's so many hidden talents in the country,
Oh yeah.
far flung.
Oh yeah.
Maybe they don't get that facility, they don't get encouragement. Forget coaching, they won't even have accessibility.
Oh yeah, it's not just sports. Like even if you see a lot of meme pages which make good content, sometimes I feel that these guys are not getting enough recognition for the kind of funny content they make. Like it's like so funny they make. I'm not talking about the offensive memes, like the ones. Uh, I'm talking about the memes that are actually funny, and they make like these small sketches with a really good plot line, or like a really good story. Like they're just doing it for free. Nobody wants to pick up their talent, and like there's so much of talent in India, whether it's like entertainment or whether it's like sports. There is so much talent. We are the most populated country in the world. Yeah, there will be talent among us. Talent is not respected enough in India. Any field.
That's a revelation. Yes, it's a tough game. Guess it's what is Pooja Bhatt's plan for 2024?
I really don't have a plan. I just want to continue lifting and I want to increase my overall total. And then now that I have moved to a different city, I really don't have any plans. I want to see what I can do. Like I want to get healthier. I just want to lift more, and I really don't have any other plans other than that.
Pooja, if you had
Mhm.
to give advice to people who are much younger than you, maybe they are 18, 15, 14, 18, 20, what are the advices that you would give them right now?
honestly, like personally, I only advise people when they ask me for advice. I would really say that go out, experience life, make mistakes, learn from your mistakes, stay, keep a positive mindset. I'm not saying you should be toxic positive, that everything has to be positive. There will be setbacks in life, but it's about experiencing life. That's the most important thing. You don't have to be scared of being like failing in something. Take life as it comes.
Sweet Pooja, thank you so much for taking
Mhm,
out your time to come up on this show and share very important, very prime and amazing, wonderful insights with our audience. And with that,
mhm.
I will sign off with Pooja Bhatt, and I will see you in the
Mhm.
next video.
It was a fun session.